Hey everybody, it's David R. Becker, and we're supposed to be in Marco Island. We're actually not in Marco Island because a tornado has hit very close by. And actually, so we're going to be doing this with the Dillmans. We have Sue and Denny that we're going to be here, and they are here. I'm actually doing in their home. So we decided to do it in their home. And instead of being in Marco Island, which we have to watch out for right now because very big storms out there. You can't quite tell that there's storms. Well, see a little bit. You can tell it's a little bit stormy out there, but we're just going to do it here today in the comfort of our own home. And I'm still going to do the demonstrations that we're going to do at the demo at the Marco Island Center for the Arts. And thank you, Hyla, for letting us know that we really shouldn't have done. We were going to head out there, and we decided that no, there was big warnings, and the television was going crazy, and so a bunch of stuff was happening out there. So we're going to do it here today, and it'll be just as good. It'll be fun. And actually, if you're not watching it now, tell your friends that you can watch it later too. It's like you don't have to watch it right at the beginning. It's going to be on here on YouTube. And then after I get it live on YouTube now, once it's thinking, we'll put it on Facebook and we'll do all kinds of things. We'll even put it on a Dillman's website. And so we'll have fun. So what I was going to do in the Marco Island was the watercolor first. And then after we get the watercolor done, then we'll be doing a acrylic on black paper. So we'll probably take a little break from that and start a whole new video so that they're not combined in this really long video. So this will hopefully take less than an hour to fill in and just, I'm doing a full sheet, so it may take a little bit longer, but normally I do my workshops or my my demonstrations, my paint-alongs every Thursday night. They take about an hour, and so hopefully this will take an hour and not any longer. And it's a scene I'll show you. But first, just to let you know what this is all about, we do festival. Dillman does festivals around the country. I just did one last week, and I remember, if you don't remember, I did it at the Villages, and we did it with Karen Knudsen. And so this week it was just going to be me because of the whole COVID, and we couldn't find some other people. But I thought I'd do too, just keep it going. And so, but there's always something, right? It's either COVID or a big storm or they actually had tornadoes hit down not too far from here in Naples, I think, or even, I forgot what it's called, but it's right next door here to where we're at. And it was really windy and rainy. And so we're doing it here. And at the Marco Island Arts Center, I've done a couple classes there too. This year, we're not starting them up again until the COVID thing is a little bit more intact. And so we're going to do this feature demonstration on watercolor, and but we're doing it to hopefully get people to come to Dillman's, from down here. And in the summer, it's so great up there. And I did 2 workshops up in Dillman's, and let me just show you this. This is the Dillman's website. If you ever want to go to their website to find out all the things that they're doing. And what you want to do is go to Dillmans.com, and you can see here on the screen that my workshops at Dillman's, I do 2. I'm lucky enough, I think probably the only people that can do 2 up there, because I love it so much up there, that I go there on June 12th through the 17th will be my water media one, which is acrylics, 4 different kinds of acrylics. And it's going to be a fun workshop. And you don't have to bring anything for that workshop. You don't bring any materials. I bring it all. And then September 18th or 23rd in the fall, we're going to do the watercolor workshop this year. I always switch it off every year. I switch it off. And like last year, I did the watercolor in the beginning of the year. So head up to Dillman's. It's an unbelievably great place. You would definitely want to take great workshops there. And Marco Island, if you're in Marco Island, the Art Center is a great place also to take workshops, and not workshops, but classes and stuff. They have a bunch of stuff there. I haven't been there since another 3 years, I think, because of COVID. We haven't been down there, but and I was hoping to get there this year, but unfortunately, Mother Nature decided not to have us there. And if you want to find anything else, what I'm doing, go to my website at beckerart.net, or my name, davidrbecker.com. It's either beckerart.net or beckerart.com. And then you can get my website there. And I have all my things, and when I'm doing the workshops and everything. All right. And so let's just get down to our painting here. So here's the painting we're going to be doing, a little European scene. I think it's in Europe. I picked this, I had a bunch of things to get ready for, demonstrations to get ready for. And I'm doing an acrylic one later on. I'm going to do it on black paper again, like last weekend. Everybody loved that one so much. I tried to do another one. And then following week, we were going to do one in Tampa, but that also got canceled, unfortunately, due to COVID. So there may be one next week while I'm in Fort Lauderdale for the Gold Coast Art League, where I'll do a demonstration also. And so all these things are brought to you by Dillman's, the Marco Island Art Center, Gold Coast Art League, or Watercolor Society. I mean, all these people are great, and they let me come in and demonstrate and trying to get some students to take some of their workshops. All right, so let's get going here. Otherwise, we're never going to get this done in an hour. So what we're going to do here is we are going to start with light to darks, and I use Stonehenge paper, Stonehenge Aqua 300-pound paper. I drew it on already, and again, it's a scene. It could be actually in Monaco or something. I'm not sure. But I'm going to take my knee rubber eraser. You can see I have a pretty heavy drawing on here, and so the lead has got pretty thick. So I'm going to take my knee rubber eraser and roll it over. I just did a newsletter about 2 weeks ago on this subject matter of using the knee rubber eraser like this. I did a little video. So you can go to my channel, and you're watching my channel right now. So there's a bunch of videos on there. Every Thursday I do a paint along, so you can just paint along for free. And it's fun, and I'm getting people interested in maybe taking the workshop at Dillman's. Being live is just so much nicer. It's just a whole different experience. Being online is great, and you can see some of the stuff, but being live, I can be right there with you. I can hold your hand, I can slap your hand, I can do all kinds of things just to make sure that you do the right thing. When I'm on Zoom or if I'm here, I'm really not listening to you guys on YouTube, and I will, if you want to look if you're watching this on YouTube right now, I am going to look up every once in a while, and if you see, I'll see with you, and I see that Anne's here. Hope Hanley is here. So type in your questions up above. I'll look up once in a while, and I'll answer your questions live. So go ahead and ask questions as you go along here. Ann, I think you live in Naples, right? Hopefully you're safe. I hope the tornado didn't come by you. I heard that tornadoes came by pretty close to someplace in Naples. Actually, a tornado down here. You'd think a hurricane, but tornadoes, unbelievable. I never thought you have a hurricane or a tornado warnings. We're all gonna if it does come by, it seems like it is let up now a little bit. But there's a right next door here, right next to me is a bathroom. I was just gonna hunker in the bathroom for a tornado. All right, so I got this. David, you don't sound so good. Are you okay? Oh, I still have a cold. I got over a cold. And I took a COVID test. Actually, my COVID test is right here. One of them. I don't have COVID, but I do have a cold. I actually probably sinus. My allergies, I think, down here or something. So it's just I'm going to sound a little bit muffled because of my nose is all plugged up. I didn't have actually I do have a beer right here, but that was actually I have a beer here from Gail. Gail took my class in the Villages, and she gave me some things from Sarasota, a beer from Sarasota. And so we'll be toasting with that a little bit later, I think, after the first one. I first want to get through this painting before we start drinking. I do have my glass of water here that I'm drinking. I'm keeping it far away from my painting water, so it's on the other side here, okay? Hey, Maria's watching from snowy Georgia. Thanks for coming and watching. This will be a fun one, and it's a full half sheet, so this is going to be a little bit longer. And I better get started here, otherwise we're never going to get done. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of look. If you look at the photo right here, you see that it is kind of overcast. It's not a sunny day. I'm going to make it a blue sky instead of what they have there. It's light, but I'm going to make it more like the Greek island kind of sky. So I'm going to go in there and just wet it and just go right away with a nice dark blue sky. Of course, if you ever watch my demonstrations on Thursday night, I use Holbein paints, and they are also sponsoring with Legion Papers, Stonehenge Aqua. They also are sponsoring. They always let me use their work or their materials, and it's wonderful materials. And so here we're going to go down and just do a nice blue sky. I just wet it first. You saw that I wet it first. I'm gonna keep it light, keep it kind of light. You go down the side of this little tower back there. I think this is like is this in Egypt or Monaco, or it kind of looks like that. I'm not sure. It's fine. All right. Jim is from Naperville. All right. You're Jim. We know Jim. Dillman's knows Jim. Jim comes up from, here's my paper towel. Hold on 1 second. Jim comes up to Dillman's quite often. And he lives up there in the summer and in Naperville in the winter, it sounds like. So thanks for dropping by, Jim. And tell all your friends. These will be up on YouTube. If they didn't watch it now, they can watch it later. And so I'm just wetting the background with the blue sky. I'm going to make it light blue. And if you put down the water and just wet into wet, it just is a nice wet into wet feel. And again, we're going to try to keep this to an hour. 11:11. I just looked at the time. Wow, isn't that amazing? 11:11. That's my favorite number. That's how come I rate my beers from 1 to 11. It's my favorite number, so that's what we go to. But I put a little of this blue down here where I see in the picture, there's a few spots here where it's blue. And so I'm just going to put a little of that blue in there. And I'm going to make this scene, since it is raining outside right now and it's super, super rainy and stormy and all kinds of tornadoes all around the area. I'm going to make this a rain scene. I figure, I know it's a blue sky, but no, I guess I can't. I'll just say after. Right now it's after, right? So we're going to make this a wet street. Again, ask questions if you need to. Just ask questions. Hopefully, people can find my YouTube channel to see what's going on here. And again, if they don't watch it now, you can also watch it later. It's all going to be good. The last minute change. We were going to do the thing anyways on YouTube also, but it just a report this morning about the storm. It's like, oh boy. So we decided just to do it here, because that says I was going to do it anyways, but it'd been nice to see all the people. And here we go. We're just going to go with now we're going to get light to dark. We're coming forward with more gray colors in the back. Again, ask questions, you guys. No problem. Ask questions. And it's violet. Use a little bit of violet back there. Gray things up a little bit. I'll do this tower later. This tower was darker than the sky. I'm going to reverse that because I used a little bit darker sky. So I'm going to reverse and make a lighter tower, which will be all fine. It'll all be fine in the end. So Maria has asked me, how do you decide the approach you take for each painting? Approach wise, well, the medium a lot of times determine what medium I'm going to use. I decide that before I even start the painting. The approach, where background to foreground is always the way I approach each painting, is light to dark usually. Well, definitely light to dark. That's one of the things I always approach, light to dark. Back to front usually on landscapes, because the background is usually lighter. So since you're painting always light to dark, you usually tend to go light to dark coming forward. And then I also go more vibrant as I come forward and more contrasty in my center of interest area. Excuse me. Yeah, it's cold, or I think it's allergies, because it's just my nose is stuffy and it's no longer just a cold. It's just runny eyes and stuffy nose. So that must mean right a not a sinus infection. Don't think I have that. It's just allergic to something up here in Florida. Not the sun. I am not allergic to the sun. So come on, sun, come on back out. And so I'm putting these like orange flavor in here. And I'm keeping it warm as it comes forward. Blue and orange being complements. And see, I dropped a little bit of water in there. As long as my brush is the same wetness, I can take this and I can smooth it out. I'm putting these oranges and red areas in here as you come forward. And I'm kind of just filling in my light areas. I'm not doing my darks yet. I'm just filling in my lights, and lights usually create the color scheme. So I'm going to go with blue and orange on this scene. And saying blue and orange doesn't mean that you're using just blue and orange. You can use also all kinds of colors, but you're going to mostly use the field in orange and blue. So here we're going to go down and just get my colors working and get those all in there. All my lights, all my light colors. In the background, I'm going to get it a little bit grayer. Oh, we got a telephone call here. So we're going to go through here. Come down. And there's somebody wondering, where are you guys? Why are you not at the um, the Marco Island Art Center? He was just seeing it this morning. I mean, it was coming down like cats and dogs. Oh man, it's just not a good thing. And that's it. I mean, you deal with it. You just go on, keep on going on. It'll still be a good demo. We'll still get going and still have a good demo. Just going here with my lights again, just getting all my lights, and I'm going to try to work the background. And here I notice back here it's kind of gray, so I'm going to go with this grays. For grays, I use my lavenders. Hold on 1 second, I see another question. Thank you, David. When you make changes to a scene, is it based on experience, vision, or intuition? Like making this scene with a blue sky, rainy street, white tower. Yeah, I just that kind of I should probably should have. Usually, I follow my value study really well, but since it's a demonstration, I don't really have the value study for it. I should have had a value study for it, but I just, in my experience, I know by looking at the photograph what lights and what's dark. All my darks are going to be in the foreground here, and my people, and all that thing. Everything else is light. So and in the lights, I'm using the color to show the background and foreground. So I keep it very simple when it comes to composition. And so that's how come I really don't need to have the value study there for me, because I've experienced enough to know what I'm doing when it comes to laying down. I look at the painting basically at first and look at it and go, yeah, this is where my center of interest is. This is where my lightest lights are. This is where my dark area is, and I break it down to big lights and darks. So I have no darks in here right now because I'm not painting my darks yet. Darks will create all the shapes. Right now, I'm putting down the fun colors that will create the background and the foreground. This got too yellow, by the way, and so I'm gonna rub that out. They got too kind of orangey. So I'm gonna put more of a lavender in there. So make it go back farther. And so just bring it back. And we'll put a little bit of that in here right away, more of a lavender background in blue, because the blue sky is going to reflect into that tower, right? I'm just going to put that right in there. And also know where your sun is coming from, but this is actually an overcast scene, so we have no direct sunlight. So we're just going to come down here, go right through the people, because the people are all darker, right? If there was something on the person, like this guy has an apron on, it looks like, or something. So, but I'm not going to put that on. So there was a little bit something lighter here, so that can go around. So I already make his pants lighter, and so I'll just keep that light. But I can do the color right now, knowing that I'm just doing the lights. And you notice how I go right to the people. And anytime you can create the biggest washes, that's the best for the painting. If you can create a big wash, that's the easiest way of painting, creating big washes, because then that becomes where the medium is really easy to use, because you're laying that pigment into a puddle of water and it's just doing its own thing. And that's big with my teachings, is floating your pigment. Get that pigment in there and floating, and just let it do its own thing. Watercolor is so much fun because you never have to soften an edge. All the edges are created on their own. You just keep it wet and just go wet it and go lay your pigment right on top of that. And so I'm looking at all my lights and seeing if all my lights have the color that I want for my lights. And then when I get it dry, then I'll go back and get my darks. Once it dries, then I know I can go in and get the dark parts and stuff, and cut out the shapes. I never have to go put the lights in there anymore, because those are already there. The color is already there for me. And so we're going down here. All right. The paper I'm using, Anne asked what paper I'm using. I'm using the Stonehenge Aqua 300 pound white this afternoon or in an hour. And then we're going to take about a 15 to 20-minute break if you'd like, or to see how many people we can get back on. And we're going to do it black paper with acrylics. And so we'll do that afterwards. So that's pretty much my lights. See my blues, and actually because the street is wet, I want to get some of that blue because the blue will be reflected into a wet street. And again, why do you make the street wet if it isn't? You know, I like wet streets because it looks kind of cool. You know, and like after a rainy scene, it looks nicer than just an average street, like the one that you see in a photograph. Just looks dull and boring, but that's okay. Maybe that's what you want. But I like to show the reflection. It's just one of those things with watercolor. It looks cool when you make a reflection in the street and you put a reflection of the person in the street and stuff. So I just like doing that. And so, and you get used to doing certain things that you like doing. And so you use those, and that's a fun thing. Now, here was probably wrong because I'm going to make this a terracotta pot. So why wouldn't I make that a terracotta reflection right away? So that was kind of a mistake, but we'll see. Maybe put a little bit of the red in there. And so see how I'm getting some of the reflections in the street already, putting them in right away, knowing that the people are right there. All right. And so by this time, I have this whole big sheet of paper. By that time, this upper part is all dry probably already. So that's great. And I am going to make some of this tower. I still have to make sure that it stays back and make these buildings come forward beyond that. So I can't make it too contrasty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it darker, but not much darker than the sky. And I'm not going to use the color of the actual object. I'm going to use the color of the sky, making it darker because the sky is engulfing this building back there. And I'm looking at the photo, and I'm just going to, there's this little tower thing here. And we're going to go make it a little bit darker than the sky. I'm making it blue instead of it's like a yellow, but I don't want to bring it forward. So I'm not going to definitely not make it yellow. So things like that are just experience, knowing that that's how I change the image is because I know if I make it warm, it's going to come forward. And I don't want that. And so Anne asked if I could see the black paper. Well, the black painting will be the black paper. This will be this is it's already drawn up, but you can't tell, can you? It's a downtown street scene of Chicago in the evening sunset. So that's going to be later on. So wait for that after this. We're going to take about a come a break so I can blow my nose and get things all set up for that one later on too. So if you can tell your friends, if you got somebody that's one was going to come to the Marco Island Art Center, and just hopefully they know now to come to this place, to my YouTube channel. So we're going to go down. And so I'm not going to put much detail into this because you don't want to. I mean, it's far back there enough. And when I do a demonstration, they're a lot looser than I would do if I'm doing a painting in my studio, because I would spend a little bit more time, because this I only get an hour. So of course I'm going faster, I'm going looser. Sometimes those styles look better though, so it's all good. Sometimes it's fun to do a fast scene and just see if you can make it loosen up a little bit by just going faster. But realize that something it's not going to be as clean. And if you're a very clean person where everything is detailed, then this is not going to be for you because you're going to go nuts thinking, oh man, look how dirty that is, or that line is not perfectly straight. And that gets kind of hard for some people. And I take when I'm doing windows and I'm doing buildings, I'm usually using a flat brush. And so what I'm going to do is just go in here real quickly. And looks like we have a little the rooftop right here. You notice how the blue, I went right into the rooftop. That's great because now this will mix in with the blue and it'll give it the same kind of feel, like it's in the same, atmosphere. So that's what you want. That's why you want to paint through things. You don't want to always go around and go right to the edge. And so then I'll take the the warm color, just go right over the blue, and then and where the window is, it can reflect that blue. You know, you can just leave it, and so it'll look like it's glass reflecting the blue window. And that's a good thing. That's what you want to keep. And this side, I guess both sides are about the same. I want to make it so that the sun, see, I have the sun hitting this side of the building. I'm going to make it so that the sun is out a little bit. And so I'm going to make this side of the building is light and this side in the shadow. You know, and again, I'm only doing that because I see that's white and this side I got dark already. And so why not, you know, you can change things. So this will be in shadow, this part right here. This one must stay what it is. I'll put a couple of rooftop darks on it. And then I'll put the windows dark in there, but this is going to be the light side, so that's already colored. That's already done. I'll take my big brush when I'm doing a big area, and I'll put that into shadow a little bit. I'll put this in the shadow, like because it's facing me, and if the sun's coming this way, it wouldn't be in direct sunlight. All right, so then we're going to go here. And this also is in the sunlight because this is going to be right to the edge. That's in the sunlight. So this is a wall coming forward, and that line right there is kind of screwing it up, but I'm just going to go like this a little bit and just, when you don't know what to do with an area, blend it and make it blurry. That way you don't have to do anything there. Because it's just, there's a lot of times in photography, even people blur areas that you don't want to see. So that's what you're going to do, just blur it. I'm going to get kind of a purple over here, and there's a big dark over here. What is this? There's a big blue window here. So I'm just going to put a little blue in there. Look it down. There's an awning right here, and then I'm going to go around that, make it the front of the awning lighter. And this whole part over here will be dark, dark, dark. So since I don't have much time, we started at noon, so we started at noon, so at 1 o'clock we have to be done, right? So we still got plenty of time. And if you need to go run, you can always on YouTube. Next thing is that it will not be live if you go away and stop it, but it will still, you know, you can still go. It'll still be running, and you can come back. Like if you got to go to the washroom or pick up something else to drink. By the way, I should drink this little water here. Cheers, guys. Cheers. This water. So I'm gonna get some darks in here. Make this dark down, and then let's see. Let's just go at an angle. This is that work. All right, that was there. This is that was light. Oh, there was where the angle was. No, oh well. I'll just make it here then. When you're painting fast, you're not picking the exact location of the thing, so it gets a little bit more difficult. But that's okay. Get things going here. And I'm using when I go get a dark, I just go in and dip into a lot of them. I don't take one particular dark like blue or whatever. I take blue, I take red, and I just put them in there. And then once the water's in there, then I can go ahead and try different colors inside the wetness. And so we're gonna go through here, bring this down. And then see this person in the photo, I can't see him. He's kind of like blurred up, but I kind of want to see a little bit of his head more than I see there in the picture. So I'm just going to do this and go all the way through here. And I just go with one value. I mean, that's okay to go with one value. And then what I do after I get that one value, I come in and go looking for other colors. I put a little red in there. I put a little things in there, texture to make it seem like something else is happening there. In the background here, there's something happening. And those I'll make a little bit less dark and also not as red and warm. I'll take these and cool them down a little bit. And so again, doing big areas is how you try to work your work down to smaller and smaller parts. You have to blow my nose in a second. I may shut off the sound for that. My phone just, my calendar on my phone just told me that we're going to be doing the demonstration in a little bit. Okay. You know, let's see, tissue paper. Sorry, what? Okay, go here. See how I'm not changing it, like making and stopping at the person. I'm just going to go right through here, and then later on, I can do little things to make it more individual area. You know, right now I want this to be all kind of looking the same, and then I can put stuff on and connect things to make them more objects later. Not right now. Right now, I just want the things to float together to make the beautiful washes that are happening. That's what you're looking for, beautiful washes. That's what you look for. Is how can I make this look really pretty? Let's see, that guy's all the way through here, and then oh, there's a little person right there. Go around this, whatever the person's doing. And this person is also dark, yeah. So we're going to go right into him too, and we're going to lead it right from this right into his body. You don't want to separate. Again, try to keep it together as one wash, and then later on you can separate things. Meaning you're keeping the big light and dark pattern going. You have to keep the light and dark pattern going. This is all dark in the front, background's light, and that way it makes it look very three-dimensional. Well, since I'm doing people, I like to use a round brush for people. Buildings, a rectangular brush, people, a round brush. Because like the legs are easier to do with a round brush, and it just seems more feasible to do people with a round brush to me. Maybe different for you, whatever works. Then we get a little bit warmer with some of these darks here. There's a little light pull here. Get away. It's 12:30, half an hour left. So we're gonna put the lamp in here. What is all this stuff here? Here we got a lot of, we're gonna make this all blue back here because this is in the background. We have a lot of blue stuff going on back here. So right away, just keep all that in the blue phase, in the blue stage. You know, in the picture, it's red. A lot of this stuff back here is really bright red and stuff. But you, as the artist, have to know that if I put red there, it's going to come forward. And if you have red up here, that's okay, but you're going to have to put it somewhere else. Don't put it in the background. Put it somewhere else on this side, maybe, so that you get things back and forth, bleeding, knowing that there you have some other colors that kind of like that. So it balances the color out. You don't just want to have one color somewhere and nowhere else. It just doesn't look right. When I first work with a main color scheme, you can break away from that color scheme a little bit with like objects in the center of interest. Like you can put a little bit of, I can put a really bright red there and that'll be fine. Because that's, throw your eye to the center of interest and that's okay. I'm not sure why I separated the head from the body because you want to do that. You want to just keep it going with the, let's see, maybe he's holding something here. This person's little kid's holding something, a bag. Yeah, what this is. A lot of stuff I don't even know what it is. I'm just basically putting in shapes because you even the photograph I can't quite tell what's going on there, and so I'm going to make it look like just shapes in the background. And then we got. And so line says that there's a line back there, and so basically I'm just going to fill that line. If I were doing it in my studio and I have time, then I maybe look to see exactly what's going on, and then maybe try to put that exactly. But that's how important is that item if it's in the background? Do you really want to make it that important? And so there's that pushes it back. So keep on coming forward. And you notice how I'm working from left to right because that way I don't put my hand over the every time. That usually if my water's over here, I'm going to work here first and work this way. We'll put a few of these darks in here too. So keep on going, keep on going. Keep on swimming, keep on swimming. All right, so let's see. Let's look at the picture. And so now we got some really nice darks over here. Look at these nice darks. rich darks. And here's a sign. I can put a little, lettering on the sign. I don't want to actually print out anything because then it's not tight enough to do that. A couple windows over here. Let's see, we got the blue. We'll put some blue right across the top here. That's going to be one window. And that's pretty thick. I must say, that's pretty thick wash right there I put over. Don't be afraid. Most artists watercolors don't use, especially beginners, don't use enough paint. You don't want to make it so thick that it's an acrylic, but don't be afraid of putting in enough water in your brush and a lot of pigment so that you can do one swipe, almost like they call that one shot, one stroke. They used to do that type of thing, where you take a sheet of paper and you just do the one stroke and get the object that you want, like the flowers and stuff. And so just load up enough pigment, and not to where you're going to be building up the dark. You would just want it on the first brush stroke. So, the best brush strokes in watercolor are the ones that you can get with one brush stroke. And you're like that, and you just put down the pigment and you can float stuff in there. But then, that's the first wash. You don't want to go in again. Keep that first wash nice and fluid, and you put a little dark in there. Now it's gonna be a really dark right here. I'm just gonna make this look like this is an awning over it. It's gonna be really dark on the inside of that. And so I'm gonna use my little smaller brush and use quite a dark here. I'm gonna start, and I even sometimes put black. I start with black, pretty thick, and then I'm gonna just start there. I'm not gonna hit the wet part so I don't want it to bleed into there. I'm just gonna make this part the same kind of. This is the back part, and now I'm gonna put other colors in there. Because if it's black and I had black and red here, then I can put other colors in there, maybe a little bit of blue to cool it off a little bit, and some red, and some orange. There was some orange in there, and bring it down. So this afternoon, when I do the on black, the acrylic on black, what's going to happen is you're gonna want to do the what do you call it? The acrylics. I'm gonna do them like watercolor. I'm gonna do them like watercolor first, because in my classes, that's what we do. We kind of look at them like watercolors, and you'll see that it's fun using them that way. But then you can also add thickness to them, and that's even more fun. Being able to add thickness, and that's how come I started using more thickness in my watercolors too. It actually helps it out a lot. I love using thickness to my watercolors because it's not so thick that it becomes, opaque. It's just thicker in the wet wash, and so you get more pigment to sit there and float. And you're only doing one wash, and so it's probably about the same if you do that, or you're constantly putting more and more paint in. You just keep on loading it in, but it's never getting there. So by doing a one brush stroke and just trying to get rid of a lot of pigment, then it looks fresh. It looks very fresh that way. So now I'm just going back, getting my darks. See how you just get your darks? Little lines. I don't exactly know what those things are. Again, I know a lot of people are like, well, I can't see what's in that photo. How do I paint that? How do I draw that? Just fake it. Really, really. You don't have to see everything in your painting. Is it that important to see exactly this part or the doorknob there? It doesn't matter. Really, really. Just have fun with it. And just, if there's a line, that's a line right there. And here it looks like there's a side of the wall. And I shouldn't, it's a lot of experience because I've done a lot of city scenes and stuff. So the experience helps a lot, when you're doing something like this, because I've done so many of them. I know that by just putting in these little rectangles and shapes and squares, and that it's going to look like there's something happening there. There's either a doorway, a window, or, the sidewalk. I mean, these things are all the same in every scene that you do when it comes to a city scene. Right? I mean, it's like you're gonna have a bunch of people. I'm gonna whisk down a couple of little some of the reflections, make them a little dry, harder edged. And then I didn't even put any flower boxes in. I probably should put some flowers in there, because sometimes you can do that too. This kind of looks kind of weird. I'm just gonna put a little bit of. There's just something, I don't like that line right there coming right straight down. It's better. Now let's get this effect here done a little bit. So that will be, again, more of a blue. It's a little bit too harsh. So I'm going to make it a little bit lighter. And the people back here will be a little less contrasty. going to keep my contrast to the front here. And then this kind of even get darker. And also, if you use enough paint like this, the nice thing is you can pull out paint too. That's even the better part of it, that when you're using enough paint. So let's do some more people with my round brush. I didn't even look at any questions. The advantage of the 300 pound, it doesn't wrinkle. 300 pounds stays flat. And if I use 140, and especially half sheet or quarter sheet, this is a half sheet. The full sheet is this big, it's nice and big here. It's like this is a full sheet. This is a half of the full sheet. If I use 140, it's going to wrinkle all over the place. It's going to have like little valleys and stuff. And then the water catches in there when you're doing a lot of wet into wet. I don't want that. That's just horrible working like that. So just put like little darks there, tapping down, putting my DNA into the painting. There was my snot rag. Uh-oh. Put that in the garbage. Hold on. At least we know this is my painting. I'm gonna put a little building back here, even though there's probably not one there. I just think I like to see a building back here and something going on, and like they kind of pulls out the tower too a little bit. Oops, sorry. Now we're just gonna get the people, and we're almost close, right? So we're getting close to the 1 o'clock time, and then we're gonna take a break, and then come back and look for the next live feed that we'll do, and we'll do that. So if that's done at 1:30. So basically at 1:30 we'll start the other one. So I'll give you a little time to go, maybe have lunch. Let's get a little bit more color in here. Some of these could be a little bit more colorful. The people, I don't want to make them too colorful because again, these people here have to be the more colorful ones. Especially this lady here. I'm gonna maybe give her a red coat, or she's wearing a red top. She's carrying a bunch of stuff. It looks like, so let's say long coat, and then she's got a skirt on underneath that. We'll make that skirt nice and dark and contrasty. And then we'll make her hair orange because I like all my ladies to have orange hair. If you're following me, you always know that. Again, if let's bring in why we're doing this again. The festival is for Dillman's and the Marco Island Arts Center. So if you're in Marco Island, please visit the Marco Island Arts Center a lot. They have a lot of good programs there. And if you're in the summer, come on up to Dillman's when they're open in the spring, summer, and fall. And they have some great classes up there. And actually, if you're not an artist, you can still go up to Dillman's. And it's so much fun up there. They have so many things to do up there. And the area itself, too, it has everything. So even if you're not an artist and you want to go up and see and stay for a weekend, or if you want to plan your wedding there, and they have a lot of weddings up there, too. It's just a wonderful place. If you do come for a workshop, and you bring your spouse, they'll have plenty to do. There's fishing, you can take great walks. I go on a lot of runs. They have bikes. You don't have to bring your bike. They have bikes. They have kayaks. You can go kayak in the boat. You can rent the fishing boat. You can even rent a ski boat if that's one of the things you want to do. You try. Like I said, they have everything up there. Shuffleboard court. You can try that. Pretty much anything you can think of that you get at a cabin in a beautiful resort in the woods, in the northern woods. Yeah, it looks like we have a person back here. Getting close. So I'm just going to put this person standing here. Maybe he's talking to another person. And since the sun again is coming this way, we're not getting any sun inside here because usually in those villages you don't have sun coming down to the middle of the street here. And that's like I made it is to make the street look. Oh, I just put it right in the tablecloth. I'm so used to having my own towel underneath the things. Let's just see. We're gonna put. So normally I put in like these reflections in the street because there's no shadows across the street. So shadows can be just as nice, or reflections can be just as nice as shadows to show like something in the street and make it a little bit darker. And so you just take the color of the street to make it a little bit darker, and then just put it right underneath the person or object that's there. I kept this guy's pants white because it's kind of neat to juxtaposition the values. And so just put a little bit of color on there so they're not so they're a little bit formed. And his hair. You can give him a little bit of rim lighting. If you want to do people, a lot of times, I'm going to show you also, I'm going to put a little bit of gouache. And that gouache, I'm going to put some opaque watercolor on here. I don't have gouache in my palette, but I do have some colors that have white in it. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to add some of those kind of thick to put them in my painting, just to show you how you can put heavy on top of a light scene. You know, you put a thick amount of pigment on there. I don't mind it. I'm not against the law. There's no law saying that watercolors can't do a mixed media kind of thing where you can put heavy on top of light. Let's see. Let's put a couple windows here. That's almost good. Let's see. These have to be a little bit darker too on this side, more defined. Again, this is not so detailed. This is more of a looser demonstration. It's not a super tight painting. You know, I didn't want it to be. It's less than that. It's not supposed to be a really tight scene. But from this point, I could keep on going more and more to a detailed stage. And even if I were doing something really detailed, I would start at this point and then just get more and more detailed as I go along. Because then you can put like wires in and all that little stuff, but you need to have the big parts in there first. You can't just do little things. Got to go for the big stuff. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm doing all the little stuff. I'm gonna go in here now and just see what I can find that's little stuff. And I'm gonna take my rigger brush and put some little lines across it, like wires and little highlights. Let my brush a little bit. Even use really a dark color and get some of these, punch up some of these. Boy, I shouldn't have put that lamp right in the middle of her head. Look at how that just goes right in the middle there. Let me put another one somewhere so it looks like, let's put another one right here. And then another one way back here. Because that way I'll alleviate the looking like, wow, look at that's right in the middle of her head. And I actually will rub that out a little bit. If you ever want to rub something out, use a magic eraser like this. It's what do you call it? The magic, what's the company? I forget now. But Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. But see, I can just pull that right out of there. So I don't have the pole going right down into that lady's head. So that was easy, right? And then we're just gonna do a couple of wires here, little lines, little writing in the sign. This has a little bit of white lines like the boards. Same thing here. On the street itself, there's going to be some lines. And maybe I want to put cobblestone. How about that? Should we put cobblestone in there? That's not go crazy. Let's not get all that stuff in there. A little reflection of these things. Here, put this person on again a little bit because I scrubbed out, and so I'm just going to put back in some of the people. Oh, I was going to tell you to put the lights on top of their shoulders. When you're doing a person, when it's really light out coming from the top, all you have to do is put a little bit of light on their shoulders, across their shoulders, and it'll be good. So now I'm going to go for my really dark darks in this area and here, and then the lights, and then we're done. And we have 10 minutes to do that. Let's see, we're going to go with black, and maybe a dark blue. We're just going to go in here and really pick up where it goes into things. Like this looks like in the back here. You have to watch out where you put the really dark because it has to look like it should be really dark there. Like it's behind things or way in the back. So here we'll put like a door. And I'm putting on pretty thick and dry because you can see it's a hard edge. So it's not wet first. I put a couple of little lines going this way. As I'm putting it on, though, it does become wet because I have quite a bit of water and pigment in my brush. So don't be afraid to put enough pigment and water in your brush with a lot of pigment and dark pigment too. So this is a really dark pigment here. And so we're just going to go really dark again. And I start out with black a lot of times because I start with black and then add color to that black. And here I'm not going to do too much contrast here because otherwise you're going to look in that corner and I don't want that. Here we're going to do a little bit of darkness in there to show the crevice parts, the parts that go in. What goes in? What is farther in? Where's the side of the street? Is this it? Like this right there, side of the street? Negative paint out this a little bit. A little bit of something there. Push that, it was kind of dirty. Okay, I think now we're going to use a white. Okay, so here we go with the white. And everybody's going to be like, oh no, don't use white. You're not allowed to use white. Yes, we are. Great demo, David. Where are you filming it from? Your hotel? I can vouch for Dillman's. It's a beautiful resort nestled in the deep pines. Actually, Karen, I'm actually at the Dillman's, actually at the Robertson's house. Sue and Denny Robertson, who run the place up there with Scott and Stephanie, and Scott, Stephanie, and oh my gosh, I can't forget the name. And oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot. Anyways, but am I at their condo, and so we're actually doing it right in their condo, not at the art center, because we could just there was tornadoes outside, so we didn't want to leave the area or go into the area. We didn't want to get to the to the tornadoes. All right, so I was going to do the white. I said, where's that reading? Let's see where we're putting this. On the edge, on their shoulders. Watch this. If you just put the little light splotches over the shoulders, it'll look like, and the top of their heads, and the shoulders. You can make it look like the sun is coming from the top. It's always a really easy way to show where the light's coming from on a person, and it works. I've learned that because of going sketching outdoors sometimes, and just seeing how the light hits a person. I did that in Duluth with a friend of mine. We went out and we just looked out and we just sketched people. And we noticed that always, like and when the sun's out and straight up above us, the tops of people, their shoulders and the top of their head is lit up. You can also put a shadow on the bottom of them right here, like really close right here. And then just that'll ground them a little bit. So I think that'll be it, guys. This is it for, let me just take the tape off here real quick to show you the finished version. Gives it always a nice clean look on there. And do travel up to Dillman's. It's a super fun place to go to. And they have many wonderful teachers up there. A bunch of teachers I've taken workshops from that are just amazing. So there you have it, guys. There's this scene and on watercolor on white paper. So in about half an hour, about 1:30, what time is it right now? So we almost have 1 o'clock. Well, let's make it maybe 1:15. You can come back, so we don't have to wait that long. And 1:15, maybe I'll come back and just come on back, and we're gonna start a. You come to my YouTube channel, and maybe we'll do another scene on black paper with acrylics. All right. So thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for joining. Sorry about that. We were not at the art center, the Marco Island Art Center, but this worked out okay. And one more thing, I just noticed it. I only have red right there as I was looking at my screen. So we're gonna make him also a little bit red. This guy right there, a little bit more red there, and maybe right here some red. All right, that's a bit better. Okay. All right, see you guys in a little bit. Just come on back. I'm going to see. I'll probably start it right about 15 minutes from now, or 1:15, in between 1:50 and 1:30. All right. So you see you then, guys. We're going to cut this short now. All right. Unless you guys have any more questions, ask me one more question, and I will answer that. Used to spend my winters there with the members of Marco Island Art Community. What a pleasant place it is. Thanks. Thanks, guys. Hopefully, you see you in a little bit. And you're going to find it very interesting. You're going to find it fun. And actually, do I have the picture? Let me see if I have the picture. This will be the picture, guys. This is the scene. See the scene on the right? That's what we're going to be painting in a little bit. All right. So until then, guys, we'll talk to you then. Thanks. And thanks, Sue and Denny. Thanks, Hyla from the Art Center for letting us do this. And we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.